What is going on, YouTube? We are back with another video. This is going to be video 3 in the series of refreshing and rebuilding this 2018 Scott Genius 900 tune. Today, we are going to focus on the fork. When I was in Moab writing this thing, it felt like the fork just had some kind of built up air. Maybe the seals need to get some more oil in them and whatnot. And so I wanted to actually walk through a rebuild of what I do. Now, when I say a rebuild, I don't mean I'm going to take the damper side out and do all of that. Really, this is just a take the lowers off, pull the air spring out, inspect the air spring, re-grease it, put oil back, fresh oil back in, make sure that the seals are all looking good, and then put the fork back together. So, and again, this is something that I learned to do on my own. I don't think that anybody should really utilize this as a how-to video. In fact, GMBN does a really great how-to video on these things. So, I'd highly encourage, if you're interested in doing something like this, go watch their video and see if you can, pick up some pointers there. I'll be showing bits and pieces of the process on how I do it and what I look for. But by no means am I a trained professional or have been working in a bike shop for forever. This is something that I just do as normal maintenance on my forks because they're my bikes and I ride them a lot, and so I just want to keep them up. So we're gonna go ahead, we gotta get the fork off of the bike, which means we gotta take a couple of things off, and we'll go from there. So this was actually a trick I learned from Seth's Bikes Hacks. As you're pulling off your calipers, what tends to happen is if you have like any spacers or anything like that, which this bike doesn't, but it's really easy to get the positioning of those mixed up. So what I have here are just, these are just the little, screw-on caps that go on to your stems of your wheels. And actually, what's really cool about them, as I'll pull this out, is that these actually thread on to your brake bolts, just like that, and they hold everything in place so that you don't lose anything. So kind of just a really cool hack if you're not aware of that. I thought that was pretty cool. All right, guys, so we have successfully gotten off the Fox 36 here. So now it's time to just go give it a quick wash, and then we can dive into the rebuild process. Let's go. All right, guys, so as you can see, I've got the fork off and it's all cleaned up, ready to be serviced. Now, I've got this little jig where I basically just take my bike stand and I turn it into kind of my fork jig. I do have a baking sheet for a drip pan. So let's go ahead and get into how I actually do a fork service. Okay, so step one, you're gonna wanna take this cap off. This is what goes to the rebound adjust. So you pop that off, there'll be this little red cap. You're just gonna take an Allen wrench and go ahead and unthread it. It shouldn't take much to pop off. It's just kind of compressed. It should be just compression held on there. There we go. So now we've got that off. Okay, and then you're gonna need to find the correct fitting socket. So it looks like it's going to be a 15 millimeter socket for this size. Let's just go ahead and check. That is correct. And then I like to put a little bit of an extension on it. Now, I have not let out any air, and I have a very specific reason as to why I do that, and I'll let you guys know in just a second. But I do need to loosen this up just a bit. Now, we don't want to take this all the way off, because I'm going to use this to go ahead and smack the fork. So there we go. Now I'm moving over to the other side. It's not in focus on the camera, but just know I'm not taking this off all the way. I'm just loosening it up. And then you'll see what I'm going to do here in just a second. Okay. All right, gotta go grab the mallet. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, and the reason that I haven't released any air out of the air chamber in this side is really because I wanna use that air to push this, I guess, this seal here in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it, give it a couple good smacks there. There we go. Hopefully that enabled it. And I'm also gonna do same thing on this side, just give it a couple. There's that one, that went in. This one didn't go in, so I'm gonna have to see if I can try this again. There it goes. All right, felt that one, so that's good. Now, very important step is now we need to remove the air out of this side of the chamber, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the lowers off. Now, I'm actually used to working with the 36 that has the Grip 2 damper, which on the damper side, you actually put, it's a 5-weight fluid, and then on the air shaft side is where you put the Fox Honey. Now, on a Fit 4, it's actually the same fluid on both sides. So it kind of freaked me out when I saw the Fox Gold Weight stuff coming out of this, but that is totally normal. So we can just go ahead now and slide these all the way off and let that drain out. Okay, so I'm gonna do my best to try to show you. Inside of here, there are these dust wiper seals. See if I can get one out here. All right, so you have these right here, these dust wiper seals. Now, as you can see, that is super, super mucked up. You know, typically that means that these seals just haven't been cleaned in a minute. So we're gonna go ahead and set these aside and get them all cleaned up. So there's one on this side, one on this side. We'll get both of these out. Okay, so once you've cleaned these things off, what I like to do is while I'm doing the service, I'll chuck them both into some of the fluid here. See if I can get that to focus in. So I'll chuck them in some of the fluid. I'll make sure that this is topped off so they're just soaking, and that way they can soak in all of that good oil that they need to stay nice and slick. All right, so now I'm gonna clean out the inside of these, make sure they're looking all clean and fresh, and then we'll move on to the air spring side. Okay, so once you've done that, then you're gonna wanna grab, there's a little retainer clip that sits just right inside there. You're gonna need to pull this thing out, and then you should just be able to pull the air spring. Might take a little bit of effort. There we go. You should be able to pull the air spring right out of the system, just like that. Okay, so here is the air spring unit. Now what we're going to do is we're gonna go ahead and re-grease this, and this top end right here, put some grease on the shaft there, and then we're actually gonna put it back in. Now there's a lot of different greases you can use. I actually use SRAM butter. I really like it a lot for whatever reason. So that's what I will be utilizing in order to complete this. Once I finish doing all of that, I'm gonna slide it right back into the air spring side of things, and then I will put the retainer clip back on and we'll be good to move to the next step. All right, so now that I've got the air spring put back in and I have the retainer clip in the correct position, everything is lubed up on this side. Then what I'm actually going to do is now I'm gonna put the lowers back on to the stanchions here. I did put the little foam rings back into there. I did grease up a little bit of inside of that. So let me go ahead and let's throw this. It'll literally just come on the same way it came off. So just slide this on and we should be ready to rock and roll for the next step. Okay, so I've got the lowers onto the fork. Now, what I didn't do is push them all the way in. I've left a little bit of space because I'm actually gonna need to put oil both right here as well as right here. You can look up on Fox's website how much oil you need to do. This is a 2018 Factory 36 with the Fit 4. So according to Fox's chart, in the damper side, I need 30 cc's of Fox 20 weight gold. A cc is about equivalent to a milliliter, so I actually just have little baby syringes that I use to measure all of this out. So I'm gonna go ahead and put 40 cc's into the damper. Okay, so I've put 40 cc's of the Fox 20 weight into the damper side, 10 cc's into the air spring side. Now it's time to put everything back together so things don't leak. Now, this is something that you'll need to buy. These are crush washers for the forks. There is one for the air side and one for the damper side. So we're gonna go ahead and install the crush washers on here really quick. So here is that damper side right there. The damper side one goes on just like this. And then we have the air side, which is gonna go on just like this. We'll go ahead and take our, there it goes, and that should seat quite nicely in there. Hand thread that on really quick. Same with this one. And quite frankly, you don't really have to, you know, torque these down too much. There is a torque spec for them. You know, I just like to go until it's tight and then, you know, just a little bit further. So you want to make sure that they're tight, but you'll feel it. And I just go just about a quarter turn past that. I really don't want to jam these in there. So we don't need a whole ton to really get these things on. So we'll go ahead and do that to this side as well. And you'll feel it when it really starts to like butt up, like right there. Quarter turn more, we should be good. Okay. And then I'm going to take my rebound knob. And what I like to do is I like to get this thing set so that the screw is just popping out. And there's a flat edge to this. So that's gonna be right here. Go ahead and we will get this thing on. Okay, so last but not least, we're gonna take our cap, put it on here, just like that. Now the very, very last thing that we have to do is we actually need to take the cap off where you pump up the shock with the shock pump and put 3 cc's of Fox 20 weight into that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. Probably not something I'm gonna film, but overall, I mean, that's really how you do a full service on a Fox. I mean, essentially step by step, what we did was we took this stuff off here, unscrewed them, used a mallet and a socket driver set to be able to pop these 2 bits out. Once we did that, we released all of the air, pulled the lowers off, cleaned them, put some oil inside of the foam rings in here, checked to make sure that the seals were good, put the things back on, added more Fox 20 weight to this because it is a Fit 4. We don't need the Teflon stuff, which is what the Grip 2 uses. Put everything back up, and then that is the suspension totally sorted. So guys, I really hope that you enjoyed the video for today. This is the first time I've ever shot something like this. There are tons of great videos on YouTube to be able to how to do this. Mine is definitely not the best out there, but appreciate you watching. If you liked what you saw, drop me a thumbs up. Leave a comment, and please subscribe to the channel because there is more rebuilding to be had on this 2018 Fox Genius 900 II. So guys, until next time, take care, and we'll see you later. You.